Hey everyone, Rho here. Well, the Xmas Battleforces have been revealed. So today we're going to be having a little look and reaction. So with that said, let's just jump straight in. Okay, so over on the Warhammer community website, GW has revealed all the Battleforce box sets for Christmas. And as usual, they are split between 40k and Age of Sigmar. I must admit I was getting a little worried we wouldn't be getting them this Christmas, especially when we got into November and there hadn't been any rumours leaked out. But thankfully that's not the case. Now, I don't believe any actual prices have been announced yet, so rather than guessing at breakdowns and prices that could be wrong, we'll just be taking a look at the box sets themselves. So let's kick off with the main event, that is 40k. Now this year it looks like there are going to be 6 40k army battle forces, and the first one is of course Primaris Space Marines, with the Shield Breaker Strike Force. Now reading the description, we've got a captain, squad of Blade Guard veterans, 10 intercessors, 10 assault intercessors, 5 heavy intercessors, and a storm speeder Hailstrike. Now every year when we sit here and take a look at the options, I always get tempted by other factions, only to normally end up going with the Marines anyway. I think even the most part-time fan of this channel will realise where my loyalties lie. Though saying that, I think I did go with the Necrons last year. But anyway, first impressions is, man, this is heavy on the numbers. It does feel quite visually impressive with the amount of infantry. I'm quite surprised they're only doing one Marine box set this year as well, because it feels like they normally do too. Maybe I'll have to go back and have a look at that, but Marines being Marines, I'm expecting this one to be pretty popular as always anyway. I'm not a competitive player by any stretch of the imagination, but it does feel like these infantry units are your bread and butter of any Marine army. And personally, that speeder is screaming out to me to be added to my White Scars, so yes, this one is tempting, but again, Space Marines always are to me. Next up we have onto the Adepta Sororitas with the Purgators mission. Now this one we have a Sister Dogmata, 5 Celestian Sacrosancts, squad of 10 Sisters, an Immolator and an Exorcist. Now to me this one isn't quite as visually dominating because obviously there's far less infantry numbers here, but you are of course getting 2 tanks instead. And at the moment this is probably the one that I'm leaning towards getting. Simply because I've wanted to start a Sisters force for what feels like years now and never got around to it. Yet somehow I have already got 2 Canonesses waiting to be opened. Don't ask me how that's worked out, you know we've all been there, come on. However, back to the battle force in question, this one could work out for me quite nicely, being led by the Dogmata instead of a Canoness. The biggest question for me is honestly what order to go for. I love the look of the Martyred Lady, black and red, but lore-wise the Sacred Rose being cut off deep amidst the Imperium Nihilus, being that beacon of light against the darkness. Now man, I do love the thought of that. I don't know, the Martyred Lady is split across both sides of the rift, so either way, I think this one is leading the way for me. Next up we've got the Adeptus Mechanicus and the Omnissiah's Talon. If we're giving awards out for the best named battle force, then I think the Omnissiah's Talon gets the nod for me. But contents wise, we've got 5 Taraxi, is that? 5 Rust Stalkers, 3 Cerberus Raiders, an Iron Strider, 10 Skitari Rangers and a Tech Priest leading the way. Again, this is another one quite visually impressive just off the face of it, pretty high on the infantry numbers. And I've always much preferred the Skitari side of the Mechanicus, so this one does look nice. Not quite enough to take my interests away from the Sisters of Battleforce, but it is a nice one regardless. I do like the look of those fairly new Skitari units, so yeah, this is a nice one. Next up we have the surprise faction for me in the Death Guard, with the Plague Fester Warband. Now I say surprised because I didn't expect to see the Death Guard this year, but hey, it is a pleasant surprise for sure. We have a champion, an icon bearer, squad of plague marines, death shroud terminators, 3 blight haulers and a plague burst crawler. Now I did actually buy the last Death Guard battle force when it rolled around at Christmas, but I guess that was maybe a few years ago now, so actually saying that, it might even be more than a few years ago. I'll have to look that one up. It was at least 2 or 3 years ago now maybe. Either way, thumbs up for having the Death Shroud as one of the options because I just love the look of these guys. By far and away my favourite Death Guard unit based on nothing else than just the look alone. Not a bad little set this one, it has to be said. But on to next we have the Necrons and the World Scour Legion. What do we have contents wise? Well, we've got a Psychomancer Cryptek, 10 warriors, 3 Scarab Swarms, a Locust Heavy Destroyer, 3 Ophidian Destroyers, 5 Flayed Ones and 2 Canoptek Doomstalkers. Now, if I wanted to let my head rule my heart, then practically speaking this is the set that I probably should get. I've got quite a few Necrons already, having got the Indomitus box set and then the Necron Battle Force from I think was last year's Christmas Battle Force options. And other than the warriors, I don't think I have any of those other units. So this probably should be the one I go for to add numbers to my Sortek dynasty. Further bolstering Imhotep's uprising against the Silent King. Because as we all know, I am Team Imhotep. This could be a bit of a real head versus heart decision for me here. Heart is saying sisters still, but the head does say buy this, add it to my Necrons, and I'm pretty much all rounded out for the dynasty. Until they bring out a new Imhotep, of course. Which I hope they do because I feel like he needs an update. However, I have definitely got some real thinking to do on this one. Sisters versus Necrons so far for me. However, moving on to our last 40k box set this year, and finally we've got the boys themselves, with the Kill Daka Warband. Now what do we have? We've got 5 knobs, 20 boys, 10 Gretchen with Runtherder, Death Killer Wartrike, Big Mech and a Daka Jet. Quite a nice little tide of green here. If you're an Orc player or thinking about it, I don't know, maybe this is the set for you. I don't have any Orc forces or plans to start one just yet, so this is probably one of the few that isn't too tempting for me at the moment. But let's be honest, we all know that can change at the drop of a hat. Overall, that does round up all of the 40k box sets, so there's definitely some tempting options for I think probably most of us. Like I said, for me it's definitely coming down to either the Sisters or the Necrons. Though let's be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if I ended up with the Marines instead. But on to Age of Sigmar, and we've got 4 battle forces here. First up with the Revenant Legion for the Soul Blight Gravelords. And this is another one I wasn't expecting to see here, with the Gravelords being a very new faction. And with them being new, obviously it's got nothing but nice looking new sculpts. What do we get? Well, we've got the Vengorian Lord, 5 Blood Knights, 20 Death Rattle Skeletons, and 40 zombies. So I think this one definitely takes the cake in terms of visual numbers. And I think we can all agree those Blood Knights are nothing short of beautiful. And moving on, next we've got the Hedonites of Slaanesh and the Cyberite Blade Carnival. And this is a Shard Speaker, 3 Fiend Bloods, 10 Bliss Barb Archers, 5 Exalted Seekers, and 10 Elite Warriors that can be built as either Painbringers or Twin Souls. I mean, any way you want to look at this one in true Slaanesh style, this is undoubtedly a beautiful box set. The Hedonites definitely are up there for best looking ranges for me. And that's saying something when you consider the ranges that Age of Sigmar has. I mean, they've got a lot of new army ranges. I think if I was going to pick up a Sigmar box set, then this would probably be the one. But I still need to get my Sylvaneth up and running, so I need to resist any temptations otherwise here. I wouldn't be surprised if this was the most popular one though for Age of Sigmar, because it's a very nice looking set. Moving on, we've got the Lumineth Realm Lords and the Venari Shining Host. Man, I don't know about anybody else, but I'm getting some high elf vibes of old here. What do we get? We get the Venari Auralan Wardens, Blade Lords, Dawn Riders, Starshard Ballista, Venari Bannerblade and a Lord Regent. I mean, you see what I'm talking about with Age of Sigmar having lovely sculpts here. This is another beautiful range. Now I've still got that old Lumineth initial launch box set that's still yet to be cracked open and built, so this isn't something that is tempting for me just yet, but it's another nice looking set. And last by no means least, we've got the Ossiak Bone Reapers with the Mortison Tithe Echelon. Contents wise, we've got a Mortison Bone Shaper, a Soul Reaper, 20 Mortek Guard, 3 Necropolis Stalkers, a Gothizar Harvester and a Mortek Crawler. Again, another nice looking set. Feels like all of these Age of Sigmar battle forces are fairly recent ranges. So yeah, definitely some nice sets here if you're an Age of Sigmar player. Nothing here that's really going to tempt me out of my choice between the Sisters and the Necrons, I think. But overall, that does sum up all of the options for this year. Hopefully there's something that you see that grabs your attention. Again, as of time of recording, I don't think prices have been revealed yet, so I don't know what kind of offers these battle forces are. But that's it for today, guys. As always, huge thank you to all my subscribers. If you're new, please consider dropping a like and subscribe to help the channel grow. And with that said, I am off and I'll see you all again real soon.